dark. Just waiting to make sure that the TV catches up. See? That's what we're waiting for right there. Come on. I don't know what to do.
There it is.
Oh, there we go.
Yay!
Back and forth, there we go.
How do I get out of there? Oh my gosh, I screwed it up.
Oh, you went to the YouTube thing.
There we go.
There
Woo!
go.
Awesome.
Live and well.
He's alive.
Put the remote here somewhere. Right there. All right, welcome to the lighter side of RC After Dark. I have no idea which one this is.
On a different Saturday, I think it's 24?
Yeah, we're kind of, so now we're back to the regular sync we were before. So I just need to grab my stool. So we were out of sync for a while and now we're back on the regular sync, and it just, during the summertime, it probably will be whatever kind of happens. So, all right.
Have a seat.
Let's see where we're going to set up here. Oh, Joe says hi, Russell.
Hello, Joe.
I'm going to turn you around so you've got the camera
Joe
word.
says word, hi.
Hornet Flyer, that's John. Howdy.
Hornet Flyer.
Oh, alrighty.
Okay, maybe a little low, but that's perfect.
You can raise it up if you want.
Oh, no,
if
that's
that's
good.
okay. All right, it's been a beautiful day here. I feel like we finally have spring.
Got to show them this beautiful world up there.
And confirm that you guys can hear us, please. I kind of always am worried about that. But it's, yeah, it's been beautiful here. So it looks like we have rain coming in, but we've had the shop door open all day today and it's been phenomenal, so.
And he's been wearing shorts all day.
Yeah. 24 degrees Celsius today.
So we have, last weekend I was at Jets Over California for Friday. We got the F4 video, which came out on Wednesday, and tons of people have been watching that. It's been a hit, so that's great. We went to the Apollo field on Saturday and had a blast flying on Saturday and came back on Sunday. So haven't been doing a lot in the shop last weekend. During this week, we've been getting a lot done. So we'll kind of cover what happened. And now, of course, here comes the wind. You want to pop that door? Far right-hand one.
Your blame is just
Top.
Top.
And we've had the door open all day, and now it's got to get closed, so that's okay. There we go. So we've got, yesterday I was out flying, and it was a phenomenal day yesterday. It was our first flying day here in Canada, or our area. The last time I flew was middle of November here locally, so it's been an absolute blast. Had a great day yesterday. We maidened the BDX, which everything went well with it. I think we got some okay footage. I haven't really looked at the footage yet, but we will have the maiden video probably coming up soon of the BDX. So that went well. So congratulations, Kyle. You're going to love that plane. We took that plane off. Zero trim needed, nothing. Didn't trim a single thing. The only thing I did was in takeoff flaps, a little bit of forward elevator because we didn't have any elevator compensation, but when we went to full flaps, it was perfect. So rock solid, the 240 was awesome, it was great. So that's kind of the update. We are finishing Rebel number 2. So if you look behind me, there's a Rebel that we worked on a while ago. And in January, I think, this Rebel had a bit of a hard landing in Tucson, and the new kit is sitting right beside you guys, and that kit's almost done, so we'll take a look at that in a little bit. And it's pretty much the same thing except a little bit different colors on the back end. We've got some gray, but we did do a complete different install on the insides, or at least some more finishing touches, and it looks awesome. I'm happy with it. So, all right, so we got some questions from you guys. So we'll go through these. There's 2 questions. If you guys have questions during the live, put them in the chat. Ward's looking at the chat, and I'll try and answer those questions. And yeah, we'll take a look at them. So first question is from Craig Scott that I received today, and this is, my question is, how close can a tank be to the turbine? Is there a minimum distance? So let's take a look at this, Craig. I will show you the BDX if you want to take the camera. So I'll pop the hatch off here. So we've done a couple planes over the past year and a bit where the turbine has been quite close to the tank. So the BDX is, it's not the fuel tank, it's the smoke tank, but smoke tank's right there. And it's probably, I can probably fit one, maybe two, I don't think 2 fingers, but like 1 finger between the turbine and the smoke tank. Now the ambient of the case or shell of the turbine does get pretty warm. You gotta remember there's tons of airflow around there, right? So really not an issue. The other planes that I'm thinking about is, we finished another Elite Aerosports plane not too long ago. It was kind of the top secret project, so can't really share much with you, but in that one, we put a Sweewin 400 in it, and the turbine was 1/2 inch to the tank. In that case, I put a couple layers of BVM heat shield, which is ceramic paint, on the top of the tank just because it was so close. And then also with the CARF MiG-17, that plane also, the way the tank's designed and the turbine's designed, it's very close. I can't remember exactly, but it's within an inch or so. And obviously that depends on what turbine you're running too. So yeah, it's really not a big deal as long as you got some space there and you're mindful of the gap. So don't forget to mind the gap, children. Mind the gap. Mind the gap, children. Next 2 questions were from Sheldon. And Sheldon said, can you explain the hush box? So for you guys that don't know what the hush box is simply a foam box that we put over top of the Cortex. The term hush box, I think, is AeroPanda calls theirs a hush box, so it's kind of a Kleenex name, but it's a foam box that goes over your Cortex. It doesn't cover the bottom, and so he says, does it not cover the bottom? No, it doesn't cover the bottom, it just slips over the top, so it covers all 4 sides and the top of the Cortex. Does it touch the Cortex? Yes. The ones that I do up, they friction fit over top of the Cortex, so that the friction is what holds them in place. There doesn't need to be any glue or anything. How do you know if one is beneficial to your jet? So on my Rebel Classic, when I was flying it yesterday, on the ground at full throttle, the rudder, and it always shows up on the rudder is wiggling. I don't have a hush box on that plane. When you're flying, you never notice it because I don't think it does it in the air. So that plane could also benefit from a hush box. I just never bothered to install one. Most sports jets now that are like big wide open airframes, it's the resonance that's making the vibration happen or vibration show up in your rudder. So the hush box generally will eliminate that vibration. The BDX that we made yesterday, that has a hush box, but everything's buried underneath the plate, so it's a Bluetooth setup, so everything's hidden. In that case, when we went to full throttle, there was 0 rudder, flutter, or movement or anything, because it's got the hush box installed. So I think most installs could probably benefit from one, but like in most scale jets, I've never seen that show up. It's more of a large sports jet type thing where you've got like big cavernous areas. So that's question number 1 from Sheldon. Number 2, he asked, he said, I've always had good success with differential braking on the Electron gear on hard surface runways. Why do you not use this feature? I probably don't use that feature because we fly 95% of the time off of grass. Now that's changed a little bit because we go to events where we're flying off asphalt, but honestly, I have never really played with it much, and that's probably the reason why. It's probably a great feature. I just haven't played with it enough to know anything really about it. So that's not really a great answer, but that's the answer. So.
1981 RY guy asks, why just the shutter affected? I think he's talking about the foam box.
Yeah, so I don't know why it shows up in just the rudder. It doesn't show up on any other surfaces. It's just the rudder. Even if you reduce the gain on the rudder channel, so like with a Jetty radio, you can go into your Cortex Pro and you can adjust everything from your radio. So if you go in, the default with Jetty, the default with Cortex, so if you have a fresh Cortex, the rudder channel is always the highest gain in the Cortex. So it always is 15, ailerons are 13, rudder is 15, elevator's 13, ailerons are 9, I think, for the default numbers. So even if you reduce that number down, you'll still see the rudder shake, and it just has to do with harmonics on the turbine. So it's just purely the turbine, that's all that's doing it. Different turbines affect planes differently too. So a Sweewind turbine at a different throttle setting, you'll see it. A Zykoy turbine, it's a different throttle setting. So that's all. Yeah, the foam box is really the elimination for that. So yeah, so that's pretty much it.
Most of the other ones there, it's everybody greeting everybody from
Awesome.
all over the world.
Thanks everybody for tuning in.
And Joseph asked, Jonathan, did you get a chance to view the Ouroboros?
The one that happened last night, no. Because we're so far north, I've seen the Northern Lights a bunch of times, so it's not a new thing for us. It's pretty common. We can see it every single year, multiple times, so it's definitely cool. Yeah, but because we're so north in the world, we do get to see it pretty often. So
unless you go way up north, then you can see it all the time.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, usually when we're out at flying events and it gets dark and you're staying at the field, you know, you're sitting around a campfire and you just look up and they're just there. It's pretty stellar for sure. So.
And it's only for a few hours anyways, because we
Yeah.
have short nights during the summer.
Exactly.
Most people don't realize that. Our nights are only like 4 to 5 hours long.
Yeah, right now so June 21st, I think, is the summer solstice. So we're kind of in our last month and a little bit of getting to the longest day of the year. But even right now, our sun's coming up at about 5 a.m. It's starting to come up. And the sun sets about 9:30, 10 right now. 10 maybe, I think.
Yep.
When we're down in Montana, which is right at the Montana Jets, which is the longest day of the year or close to it, the sun's coming up. I mean, Montana's a little bit further south than us, but the sun's coming up at before 5 a.m. and it's setting at almost 11 o'clock. So it's nuts. It's awesome.
Sometimes during the summer, I'm walking to work.
Yeah. And
in
the sun's
sunlight.
coming up. Yeah.
The sun's coming up, and that's at 4 o'clock in the morning, people.
Exactly. All right, so I'll take you guys through the Rebel here that we're redoing. Sorry, the camera's going to get shaky for a sec.
That's not me.
All right. So I can see the comments now. If you guys have any comments or questions, I'm looking at the phone. So in the previous Rebel that we didn't paint the inside, and I really regretted that. So here is the paint, or the previous Rebel Pro. You can see the damage to the nose there. And yeah, it was nice. Everything worked good, but this is definitely a step up. Smooth Dave, thank you. I appreciate that. He sent some cashola. Smooth Dave said, will you be doing the Skymaster F-15 1/5 scale, or do you want a customer to purchase it for you to build? We do have one on order, so one is coming. I'm always up to build 2 at the same time, like we did with our F4s. That was tons of fun. So it's always an option. Building 2 is a lot more fun than building 1. It's just doing the same thing over and over again. So yeah, here's the Rebel install. We're doing the Bluetooth install again, so everything's hidden under that top tray. The painted inside really transforms everything. Same battery setup in the front. I took this harness out of the previous plane, and we will paint this and make it all pretty again, but we reused that because it just worked perfect, and all of our power leads are already done, which is great. So where we're at right now is this is actually getting delivered to the new owner like Monday, Tuesday, or the owner Monday, Tuesday. And so we're just doing our final setups here. We just have the electronics board in. We just plugged the items in before we started the live, and I'm getting ready to test this to make sure all of our surfaces and lights and everything work. And then our main section here, we have that all painted, of course, as well too, and everything's basically hidden. So our our ECU is right in this area, same as before. Fuel pump and everything is underneath there. So yeah, so that's basically it. Same scheme, same everything, except we've got gray in this section right there. I think it shows up on the camera. We've got gray and white, and then the tail section right there is gray as well.
And
so
that silver really helps.
Yeah,
it
for sure.
really makes it pop.
One thing we did with the speckle on the inside is we painted gray, and then we did our speckle, and then I put clear coat over top of this as well too. So I did a really light layer of 2K clear that just makes it more fuel proof, because if you get fuel on the primer and it sits there for a little bit, it just sucks it off. So yeah, it's definitely a little engine in there. That's the 195, but it is a really perfect pairing on this. Yeah, Nick, I agree. I don't know if I can do a sports jet and not paint the inside anymore. It kind of just finishes it perfect. Now,
It's addictive.
it is. The BDX, I don't know when mine shows up if I'm going to paint the inside. And I think, I question it on this one because there's so many accents and stuff, like with all the carbon formers and everything. I kind of like that just the way it is. So I'm glad I didn't do it on this one, and I don't know if I'm going to do it on mine when it shows up. But same kind of thing there. The Sweewind 240 is lost in that plane, but it's a good power plant for it.
Put a
So.
400 in.
So yeah, everything worked good with the BDX. It was great. So that's pretty much it. I'll give the camera to you. You want to flip it around?
Yeah, you don't want to look at me, do you?
Flippy. I don't know. Pretty sexy looking, Ward.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, now it's windy outside.
You can hear it. Sounds like winter without the snow. Sad.
Oh,
Sad how it can be.
Don't say that word. Snow.
well, it's supposed to rain, I think, tomorrow and Monday and Tuesday. So
Right on for Mother's Day.
Yeah, Nick says we can put the snow shovel away now. No, not in Calgary.
No, we
No.
leave ours out in the porch.
Because we can get snow.
it'll still snow in May. So don't worry, we'll
And
still
I've
get more
seen-
snow.
I've seen it in June,
September.
and
Yeah.
July, and August. I've seen
September.
it every month.
I think in all the years I've been here, there's been snow at least in every month of the year.
Yeah, I've seen it. I can't believe it, but
And sometimes the stuff in the summer is really nasty because we get a lot.
And it's
it
heavy
comes
and
down.
it breaks trees.
Yeah, it just knocks trees down, puts them through cars and stuff like that. So lots of fun.
So what we need to do is we need to bind a spare R3 to the program for this plane. Now this program is not the one that
David
the
says,
plane...
Where's the monster? You got a Coke?
I know, I've already drinking 2 Monsters today.
He's bouncing off
I
the
know.
walls.
And I only drank one when I was in California. Right?
yeah, keeping you in line.
I know.
Nick said they just had a good snow dump on the mountain.
Nice.
Really?
So what we're doing is we've got the setup program on my radio. So we're going to pair this R3 with my radio. I've unplugged the receivers that we were using before in that plane because we don't want to rebind everything to my radio. So then we'll just be able to turn the plane on and confirm that everything works. So that is what we're doing at this time.
Fine plug.
Oh, what else is new? F4. We didn't talk about that last time, right?
Oh, no, we did not.
Yeah, look at that F4. So we got a Skymaster. This is the large F4. I unboxed that. So that unboxing is, I think, a week from today.
Is that the tail chute?
Yeah. It's a big plane. Like it's almost as long as the SU. It's pretty cool. I really want one of those. So I think that's probably my next scale jet right there. Yeah, I've already been talking to the Skymaster rep about it. So
Well, yeah, after seeing that big one from
Yeah.
Reyes down in California,
the ginormous one.
flew like baby, man. That feels
Jonathan
so
was always smiling when he was working on the F4. He's just like, hey, like a kid in a candy store.
Okay, so we're going to go to default, primary. Okay, so now this receiver is bound to our radio for this program. We'll just go in here and make sure that we're happy with the outputs. So, model, device explorer.
Victor says he loved that Carf F4 Phantom
Yeah,
twin.
it was very cool to see. Okay, so we've changed this to EX bus now. So now we can use this on our plane. Power, yes. The only thing is we can't use our remote on-off switch. So have to make a little bit of changes on things, but it's really a non-issue. So we're going to unplug our remote switch, put a bind plug in the switch port. And the reason for that is now our on-off switch. Yeah, seeing the Carf in person. Oh, by the way, if you didn't, I mean, I'm assuming you probably watched the F4 video, but we do have the first production F4 from Carf
001.
coming to the lighter side of RC. So we will get plane number 1.
001.
So they're building one more model. I think they're maybe building the Longnose model, but anyways, they're doing one more, and then the next one after that will be coming here. So
They're making a longer version of that? Long nose?
yeah, the F4. So this is the short nose version,
Yeah.
and then there's a long nose model of the F4 as well.
Victor says we got to see the assembly process. That was crazy.
And I'm sure it was, so it probably came right out of the crate.
And Nick says, did the one at the CalJets have a chute? He doesn't remember seeing one.
It did have a chute, but I think they probably took the chute out to meet the weight requirements. So I saw the chute sitting there, but it was not installed in the plane. Thank goodness for this top hatch. Gosh, this is one of those servo leads that suck.
Smooth Dave, have you built a Carf B2?
I haven't. One of my customers was talking about getting one, and we haven't yet, but it's definitely an interesting plane because, of course, you don't have any rudder control on the plane, so you've got your outside split ailerons, which act as your rudders to simplify things. But no, I haven't built one. It's a monster. I think the wingspan is, I think it's 13 feet on the wingspan. So it would be, I mean, it would touch the wall and it would come out to a little bit past this Rebel Pro. So it'd be crazy.
And Nick says, sulky Americans and weight limits.
Yeah, exactly. And Canadians with worse weight limits.
Flyer Mickey says, Cletus has one.
He does. I saw his video. That was pretty sketchy. Pretty sketchy. I totally thought he was going to crash it on the first flight.
Man, that's a big plane. I forget
Yeah.
how big those are.
Okay, so we've got everything plugged in. We haven't pre-done this.
Jonathan, will you have to fly my EDF B2 6-foot wingspan?
That would be cool. Who is that?
Let me just bring him back up here. That's Eco Smoke.
Oh,
Smoke.
Joe.
Joe, yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully, fingers crossed, everything goes well. We need some batteries for the nose. So come over to battery section.
No chute was installed for the second flight. They tried to use it on the landing, but it was too slow. That's
Oh.
why.
Popped out and probably didn't do anything.
Or they hit the button to pop it out and it just stayed.
All righty.
It came out after it taxied back and turned back into the wind. That would be funny to see.
Did Victor say that?
Yep.
Because yeah, he was there for the second flight, so.
Turned into the wind
Yeah, popped
going back. Nick says, man, that's a full shop.
Yes.
Yes. We spend days just moving things around to make room.
It doesn't take long, does it?
No.
It was about a month ago where like things were kind of open. But
Yeah, my father-in-law stopped by this morning and he walked in the door and he was just like, "Oh, you got a lot of planes," because there's just planes everywhere.
yep.
That's what happens.
And
Well, and this morning I had this stuff sitting here, and then I had my Rebel Pro sitting by you guys, so it was even more full over here. Okay, so we're there.
1981 says, how about the F-22? Options on the T1 model?
Yeah, I don't know. I was kind of excited for the big F-22, and then when that didn't happen, meh. I do like an F-22. Partial to that, for sure.
That was one of your first ones, wasn't it?
That was my second plane, was my F-22.
Yeah, a little bit of that.
Sheldon says, put flaps in mid-position so they aren't binding, if not the same as the last Rebel Pro.
Yeah. I've got to just make sure they're not going to hit the stand.
David S., it will be fuller in a few months. Thanks, David. Smooth Dave says, T1, a lot of issues with quality. My favorite plane is the F-22, and I wanted one, but they dropped the ball.
Yeah, I think I don't know if there's a really good F-22 out there right now.
Built, yeah.
Yeah. There's a company that makes an F-35. I forget, is it Durjet? There's guys down in the U.S. that are selling one. I can't remember the name of their company, but...
Because you know you get one, you're gonna want to fly it like it's stolen.
Oh, yeah, of course. But you want something that's good quality, right? You don't want the
right.
rudder to fall off
Nope.
and all that
You
stuff.
want
So.
something to come loose, fall, smack, bang.
Okay, so we got rudders in the mid position. Let's see what happens. Well,
And silence falls over the shop. Aerofoam makes a nice F-22, but it's foam.
well, that was pretty anticlimactic.
Nothing happened.
I was gonna wait for you to say that.
We should have sound from everybody they can speak.
Do I have this set up right? Control output? Or does it have to be EXT?
I think it's EXT.
Nick just told David to put the pressure on.
It says it's... So that's on. Cortex is blinking red. That shouldn't have power from anything. Oh, we've got power right there.
David says, did you go into the Cortex or CB?
Into the central box.
Central box. Is it 3 or 4?
Smooth Dave says F-22 isn't a one-off. There's a 1/5 scale in the works by a company called Wind RC, Chinese company.
Oh, I know. We had our first deposit with Wind RC and we decided to cancel it.
Because of issues with the structure.
Yep.
I'll just leave it at that. There we go. Helps if you go in the right port on the R3. Hey?
Here we go.
I was going through the same thing the other day. I'm like, 3?
Well, we don't use R3s, that's why.
That's I do.
All right, so flaps. Oh, that's the flap switch right there.
Looks like it could go up a little bit to the right.
Well, this radio is not
Oh,
travels or anything, right?
right. It's just for setup. Gotcha.
Yeah, just to make sure everything works.
Yeah.
So gear won't work because we don't have our gear set up.
Yeah.
Which we'll need to do because then if we want to check our gear lights, we need to check that. So that's easy to plug in.
Nick says, didn't they have a flight failure of the F-22?
Yeah, they've had a couple of them now.
The Smooth Dave says, oh no, to kill my hopes and dreams.
Nick is pretty in on what's going on. He's got his ear to the ground. So.
Yeah, I was very excited about that F-22 project, but it was promised to be ready a long time ago, and it's been
Way past due.
way past due. So
You're not going to just sit on it forever. waiting
No,
for
no.
Stuff to.
Just gonna have to make one our own. No.
okay, so left gear.
Somebody's just going to have to.
And Smooth Day says, yes, Nick, they did. There was no explanation as to why there was a video out on here about it just landed. Soft belly and started smoking.
Oh, jeez.
Smooth Days do. Go have a rum at mate and make your dreams come back.
Okay, and this is our.
And Flyer Mikey says that he thinks that there's a weak area where the stabs were.
Yeah, and they
Boy,
it was really heavy to begin with, and then they lightened things up, and they had some failures, and so.
they lightened it up in the wrong areas. Trying to cut weight.
And it says they crashed a Durjet F-35 at best.
Oh,
in
no.
the West 2023.
Really? That's not good.
So I gotta see on the box what orientation the plugs are in. Be back to our regular
F-22 or-
scheduled program in a moment.
F-22 or F-35 by CARF or any reputable company would be a hot seller for sure.
Yeah,
I
They've
don't know
got
if
the
there's a
looks.
huge market in big military airplanes.
Back to the drawing board, yep.
I don't know.
Uh,
There isn't sports jet. I mean, once you get past like the Top Gun guys
I think-
flying them and stuff like that for their flying, I don't know.
I think if they were to fly them really good, you can probably put them in the sports jet category.
Dave says you're supposed to tell people to press like on the YouTube.
Yeah, you haven't said.
hit the like button.
Hit the like button.
Like.
Like. We gotta make this thing fly.
Hazel Cough? Hey, Jonathan, I notice you always use Rex 7s in your central box setups. Just wondering why spend extra money and dollars on a Rex 7 when R3s offer the same RF performance.
So it depends on where you're located, but so the Rex 3s with the long antennas, we can't get them in North America. The R3, which this guy is right here, agreed. They offer the same antenna performance, but I like the long antennas because you can position them further apart from each other. So you have more positioning options. So that's number one. The other thing is if you're using the R3 and you are using the default setup or a clone setup, you can run into issues. If you're using the Rex receivers, you don't have an issue using the default or clone setup. So it's mainly for antenna diversity. I mean, this plane here, for example, we've got one primary, one clone. Our antennas can be all over the place, and our receivers can still be hidden underneath the upper hub or the upper deck here. Okay, so our gear is hooked up. We should be all good to go. So we'll turn this guy on by pulling the bind plug.
Smooth Day says He thinks that everyone else with the military jets be put in the 1.5 scale has been excited, and Skymaster is leading the way by a huge margin for the bigger military jets. And David says, excellent answer on the receiver.
Thank you. I learned from Master Yoda.
Very well, little one.
Okay, so our lights came unplugged, so I need to find that. Okay, so we've got nav lights in 13. There we go. And our light switch right there. Awesome!
Nice and bright.
Guess what? The lights work.
Nice and bright.
Yep, perfect. Cool. So looks like everything works as it should. Gear up.
Nice.
Okay, so nose wheel. Oh, that's not plugged in, that's why.
Sheldon says the BDX canopy on the ground makes him nervous. And David S. goes, woohoo!
All is well.
Dean Bird says, I wish this was mine. Ordered my Color Swap Rebel Pro a month ago. Hopefully it's in production. Scheduled ahead of the F4.
Nice.
Nice. Who's this?
Dean Bird, I think?
Yep.
Oh, we talked to him when you were down in Tucson about him trying to buy mine. Right, that's good. Good to hear, Dean.
Smooth Dave says, good point on most of the hype of being based on the Top Gun. For huge jets, sounds like Skymaster needs to work out an Su-57 1/5 scale.
Good luck getting schematics on that. Blueprints. Something that's in
Real life is garbage.
I know.
It doesn't work.
I know. It looks like it should.
So the one thing we didn't do yet is plug in the nose wheel. So I'm just plugging that in just to confirm that we're all good there. There we go.
And David S. says, all is always well at the shop.
There we go. So we'll just confirm that that works. We need to do a bit of, well, we're not going to do sub trim because, well, we have to retract it actually. So, but the actual trimming we're doing really doesn't mean anything because David's got to do it on his radio when the plane gets to him. So.
He also has to set up the gyro.
Jagman says, did you see the Hurricane Mini?
Yes, I
cool
did.
jet. Are you getting one?
They kind of talked to me about it a little bit. I don't know yet.
There was actually a Hurricane?
Yeah, mini.
Whoa. 7.62 gold. Antenna 1, 9. Antenna 2, 9.
It's a cool looking plane. And they say it flies just like the big ones, so.
Yeah. What kind of engine?
Like a 60, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Clear's good.
Have to do a little bit of trimming on that side.
I think whoever does the trimming trims like one side a little bit further and then a little bit less than the other when they do it. Because all mine have been like that.
There you go. So she is good to go.
Sheldon says you can
Top
center
shelf,
the
man.
nose wheel in the GS200 controller.
So
And it will be
nose.
the same as for the customer, I think, when he plugs it in.
So nose wheel, we actually don't, like on the GS200, we don't use any of the functions on the GS200. So on this plane, it's got the GS200. but all of the gyro controls and everything are all done through the Cortex, through the radio. So we've got more easy access to all the programming through the radio when you do it that way. So the only thing this is doing in this plane is just the gear function and brakes, of course, and that's it. So, but yeah, otherwise, if you synced it up in the controller, then yes, that would stay with the controller. But in this case, we're using the radio for it. So, and bing, bang, boom. A little bit of cleanup to do, and she's good to go. So we can unplug this guy. R3. All right.
All right, now we just have to break it in half or they'll fit in my
Feel
car.
like success.
Don't say that.
I'm waiting,
Don't say it.
waiting to see what Dave
Dave,
says.
that's a joke, man. Like, it's only me that has to break it from my RAM. I don't like it to...
So yeah, all is good with the Rebel. So that is perfect. We have a little bit of cleanup left to do on the wiring and everything. A nice quick wipe down, but she is good to
David says, and the nose steering turns off when the gears go up through the jetty.
Exactly.
And Justin M says, what happened to the nose on the other one?
So the other one, we did all the flights down in Tucson Jets, so that's where it went to the owner, to David, who's on the chat right now. And I think it was maybe on the second day or something like that. He was coming in for a landing, got a little bit slow with the crosswind, and the wing dropped. So wing touched, nose touched. So the plane actually really isn't that bad. Like, it could be fixed. Not super easy, like the nose is knocked off. There's a bit of a damage on the fuse joints. The wings are slightly damaged. So it's just easier to get a brand new kit and then it's all fresh and new. So
A lot less than what I did to mine.
yes, yes.
Mine was... Yeah.
You decided to park yours really hard.
Yeah, but those...
Hazel, I would go with the DS16, the G2. It's basically, you know, you've got 24 channels, color screen. It's a great radio. I would go with that over the 14. It's something that you could grow into. So the 16 is just like this radio. You just don't have any of the stuff on the back. So you don't have any of the toggles and buttons and everything. So, but it still has 24 channels and it's just a great radio. So yeah, the 16 is awesome. I would go that route over the 14. So
Yeah, David says go with
Gen
the
2,
DS16.
yeah, G2, yeah.
Thoughts on the Fresca X20 Pro?
I have a really affordable...
For me, it's an affordable radio. The thing I don't like about it, is this in view?
Yep.
So the thing I don't like about the FR Sky radios is they're basically this big. So
Yeah, they're small.
yeah, to me it's like holding a game controller and it doesn't work for me in my hand. So
Him, and then me in my hand, the meaty hands. There's
Yeah.
not much...
So I don't know. It looks like a good radio. I saw one when I was at Jets Over California, the brand new one. Looks awesome, all aluminum and all that stuff. I have a lot of respect for FR Sky and Steve. Had a great chat with them. We've had them on our podcast. So, you know, I'm not knocking their products. I'm just saying for me, it's not a fit at all because it just ergonomically doesn't work with my hands. So that's my thoughts on it.
And Nick says, 1 too many in the hangar, David.
Yeah.
And Willie says, hey, RC airplane teacher, love the show. And thanks for the shirts and hat.
Awesome.
We'll be wearing at Joe Knoll next week.
Perfect. Thanks, Willie. Thanks for being a channel member as well, too. I think you were one of the first people that signed up as a channel member, and you're still a channel member today, which is super cool. Willie gets to see all of the videos, and the other channel members, Nick as well, too, who's on here. These guys get to see the videos way in advance. So right now, they're actually seeing 4 videos in the future. So they've already watched the F14 video. They've already watched the unboxing of the F4. They've watched the F14 video number 2 and video number 3. So that's the benefit of being a channel member. So
But I got better benefits. I get to see it made.
true.
Pronounce Free Sky. Ask Steve, the rep.
Yeah, Free Sky, FR Sky,
And Nick,
Chikoi,
he says
Zykoi.
he's expanded the hangar.
Ow. So this stays in this box.
Have you kept up with the Ramy RC and Taylor Perry's huge C-17?
Yeah, I watched the videos. I don't watch all of Ramy RC's videos, but I definitely watch those ones and the Cletus McFarland videos with him out there. And yeah, it's cool stuff. I have a lot of respect for what Ramy does, and he does cool work. And I mean, Tyler Perry's flying site there is just
Yeah. That is, wish you had that in that garage.
yeah.
Yes.
Wow, which garage?
Oh
like
my Lord, I'm just like,
yeah, if you watch.
Jagman says, can you please explain the difference between the Jetty clone versus the dual path setup? Pros and cons, if there's any relevant difference.
Use whatever you want to use.
yeah.
That's basically it. There's, I'm just looking at the comments way over there on the TV. If you go onto Facebook, there is a document that one of our local guys did up, and he actually talked with Jetty and the developers of Jetty or whoever at Jetty, I forget the guy's name, but he put a big document together that explains it all. Dual path works amazing. Use dual path, it's awesome. The default setup, whether you're using one receiver or you're adding clones into the mix or a 900, that works amazing too. That's our preferred way of doing things. Both systems work great. You'll find when you're using dual path, your telemetry sucks and you get errors constantly, or you get the screen flashing blank. When you use default and a clone, it works way better. So, but signal-wise, Jetty works great either way, but we use clone for pretty much everything, or default mode. Lots of people use dual path. So the BDX as an example, I didn't want to set that up in clone because you have to have the owner's radio here to do that. So that plane, when I flew it yesterday, I set it up in dual path. It's got 2 Rec 7s and it worked awesome. It's perfect, so no issues.
Okay, David S. says Jonathan saw the expansion of his hangar, I guess.
I did.
Craig says he likes being a channel member.
Thanks, Craig.
You're also having a good looking and very modest.
Thank you.
That's from Nick.
Wow.
And Victor RSS likes 2 weeks earlier. I don't know what that's all about.
That's the video. So the channel members, they're seeing the videos 2 weeks early. So
And Nick says Remy must have a carbon factory out back.
You must have shares in the carbon man.
the rolls they have of the carbon is
Smooth
nuts.
Dave says a lot of carbon on that thing, and it still weighs 350 pounds.
Yeah, it's great.
AMA must love Tyler and Ramy.
Yeah.
And Tyler Perry compound is unreal.
Yeah, the last video where Cletus flew in on the helicopter, I think that was his video that was shown in. It was pretty cool because you get the helicopter view of Tyler Perry's whole area and stuff. It's nuts.
Yeah, Tyler Perry's compound, it says, John, you need to make a trip that way soon. You know it's coming for content.
Maybe invitation only. We'll see if the invitation ever shows up.
Victor says he did the programming for Frisky 20s for Mike's Viper assembly.
Nice.
It is different from Spectrum, for sure.
Yeah.
Easy if you're a Jetty user.
Yeah.
And David says, excellent explanation on the clone and dual
Perfect.
path.
Yeah, I guess one other thing too on the dual path and clone setup, I like to do a lot of buddy boxing with people. So just yesterday when we were at the field, we have a fellow out there and he did his very first turbine flight. So he bought the Boomerang Ranger, the yellow one that I built a couple years ago, or last year maybe. And he ended up buying that, and we set up my radio as the primary. His radio was the student radio, and you can only do that in default. You can't do that in dual path. So that's one of the other benefits as well too. And if I'm at an event and you know, I want to get somebody that's never flown a turbine before, or somebody that wants to try a certain aircraft. I mean, there's just such a great way to do it with the buddy box setup, and that's possible to do it in the default mode with clones or just one receiver. So,
yeah. Jagman says Ramy needs to build a fighter jet. He has too many airliners.
yeah, the airliner thing is kind of like meh. Yeah.
Nick Fenner says an F-101 or an F-104 would be cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I don't know, when you see those videos, you can see a lot of different aircraft in Tyler Perry's hangars, but yeah, most of them are airliners, right? So, sorry guys, just grabbing some water.
That little 104 is just nothing but engine and stubby wings.
Yeah.
Kelly Rohrbachs. PMB
Kelly.
hangar. Yeah, he said he just remembered he's a bit late.
What's up, Kelly?
Hey, Kelly.
You're an hour late.
Looking forward to seeing you in about a month, buddy.
Yeah.
We got a lot of planes to build in the next month. So F-14, oh yeah, I guess we never really covered the F-14 either, so let's go over that. So for you channel members, you know where we are with the F-14. F-14, so video number 1 that came out today, we kind of did the overview, pulled the gear out, put the gear back in. Montana is June 17th that week, right after Father's Day. Video number 2 on the F-14, we got our tail done, so both horizontal stabs are done, our exhaust is mounted, our afterburner lights are done, turkey feathers are on, verticals are done, operating tail hook is done as well too, and this mechanically locks in the up position, so that's why we can't just pull it down. And video number 3 is all about the wings. So we got the wings 100% complete, minus the flaps, because we were waiting for a carbon horn. Somebody else sent $5 as well too through the chat. Sorry I missed that, but thank you whoever sent that. I didn't see it, so. So yeah, that's where the F-14 is at. So now with the Rebel getting completed today, pretty much, we'll be back on the F-14 tomorrow, and that is going to start off with the wings getting completed, and then we'll start off with the equipment installation from that point forward. We also have engines for the F-14, so the 240s are here, the Zykoy 240s, so those will get installed as well too. Wiring wise and everything is really cleaned up. We've got all of our wires run from the back end. Tanks are all plumbed and everything. Yeah, it's kind of been a while actually because we were so far ahead on videos. So, but that's where the F-14 is at. I'm excited to get the nose bolted on because this is the only way you can really support the thing right now. And yeah, so it's kind of jerry-rigged or whatever up there. But yeah, that's it. Schedule-wise for videos, so today's video is this guy. These are the other videos we've already got uploaded to YouTube. So, and then there'll be F-14 XL video will be the next one on the list. So, yeah, so that's the F-14.
Looking forward to starting that thing up.
Back
and
to you.
Do the.
So yeah, before Montana Jets, we've got to get the 14 done. We've got to get my Elite Aerosports BDX done. We've got to get the Elite Aerosports Razor done. The Rebel Pro is done.
The Sukhoi done.
Sort of. We have a bunch of work to do on all those projects, like weighing them and stuff. So there's quite a bit of stuff to do with those guys as well. But those are the 3 that need to be done. I think we've got, I'm not sure when it's going to show up, but we've got the new Boomerang jets plane showing up. What is that thing called? It's their smaller one that they just came out with, the Lancer. So we've got a Lancer coming. I'm not sure, hopefully it's soon so we can get that done for Montana Jets. And yeah, so there's quite a few to get done. I'd like to get the Rebel Hot that we have that's been sitting here for a while finished.
Yep.
And then we've got the F4 to start, and we've got so many projects still in the queue. So Yeah, lots to do. Lots to do.
You're gonna be working up until the day we're packing to leave.
I'm going to be working until September when the snow falls again.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. Did you figure out why the X-Koi 195 flamed out on the Rebel Pro and Bandit?
On the Bandit, no. On this, yes. I'll simply say it was an air bubble. We'll just keep it at that. So it was basically an air bubble that caused this to flame out. The Super Bandit, not entirely sure yet, but I think the owner David was going to run it again and just check it. So, but yeah, so air bubble basically is what did it.
Can you speak on when the 125 F-15 will be released?
I'm not sure when the date is going to be, but if you follow Skymaster on Facebook, they posted some pictures of the landing gear not too long ago. So I suspect we'll probably have the fifth, and this is purely a guess, we'll probably have the F-15 here in the shop at some point later this year, is my guess. Yeah, so we have the F-15 from Skymaster coming. That's one of the next big projects. The CARF F4 is coming. I think that's it. I say that's it, but that's it.
And 1981 asks, is anyone messing with the real afterburners on these turbines?
Yes. One of my customers was interested in putting an afterburner on a turbine, and he was actually going to put it on a boat. So we kind of enlisted a company that does aviation design to come up with the design, and unfortunately that guy just ghosted us. So I don't know if it'll ever happen. I think there's some videos floating around YouTube, but they're pretty nuts. I mean, the fuel consumption doubles, but the thrust output also doubles. So you know, you think about like a Sweewin 400 turbine, you're using 1 liter of fuel a minute. You put an afterburner on it and start pumping fuel into the afterburner and you're using 2 liters of fuel a minute. So on a boat or something like that, it doesn't really matter because capacity is not really an issue. But on a plane, yeah.
If it stops, it just floats.
The thing about the afterburner setup is if your engine's this big, your afterburner is just as big. So it's just a huge, heavy thing that doesn't make a lot of sense. So on a model jet, it doesn't make sense.
And Sheldon says Boomerang has the Atom too. Looks like the thrust vector on it.
Yes, nothing set in stone yet, but I'm pretty sure we'll have an Atom coming to the shop. And there's a third one that they haven't announced anything on yet, and I'm not allowed to say anything, but I think the Atom, you guys will be very impressed. And their next project after the Atom, you're going to be blown away. Boomerang is absolutely stepping things up. All the new Rangers are all full composite. The Lancer is fully composite. The Atom's, I'm guessing, but I know it is, fully composite. And their plane after that is also fully composite. So it's exciting.
Patrick says he saw the CARF F4 at Joe Nile.
Who's that?
Just as
Patrick.
big. Kelly says that.
Oh, cool.
And Echo Smoke said Bronco. I don't know what that's.
Oh yeah, Bronco. When we get back from Montana Jets, the Bronco should be back from paint from Joe. He sent some pictures. I saw some pictures yesterday at the field and it looks amazing. So Kyle, you're probably not listening, but Kyle's the owner of the Bronco. You're going to be incredibly impressed. I'm sure Joe's been sending you pictures, but it looks really good. Really good.
Smooth Dave says afterburner is a possibility, but the amount of fuel being used is crazy for an aircraft frame.
And then like
Heat would be an issue with the afterburner.
on a plane like this, you'd need the turbine mounted here for the afterburner to be there. So that's an issue as well too, because if you put on this plane, the Rebel Pro, if you put the engine back here, you're now having to add 3 pounds of lead in the nose to counteract just the engine. That's without the afterburner. So.
And And heat can be mitigated through the materials too. Jagman says Boomerang J10.
What? I never said anything. How do you know?
It's been leaked.
If you're at Joe Knoll, maybe they're talking about it already. So we may have that project coming too. We'll see.
And also weight will be an issue, Nick says, for the
Yeah.
afterburners.
Yeah, for sure.
And the heat will also actually damage the balsa itself.
Yeah, it's not going to be a. I don't really know how they work and stuff, but basically you're just pumping fuel, I think, into like a space, right? I don't know exactly how they work. That's over my head, over my pay grade, but
Schooling degree.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, so that's it.
And Echo Smoke wants to know, did you sell the Super Elan?
Super Elan is sold, no longer mine. It's sitting there, but it's no longer mine. So Kinetics is with its new owner in Mexico. He's very happy with it. I'm happy he's happy with it. And the Super Elan is also owned not by me anymore. So as of right now, today's date, I technically have one flying jet, a Rebel Classic.
That's hard to say.
It is. You know, I've got the T-33 over there, the BVM, which is like, I don't know, a third complete maybe. But if we have the Lancer coming, I'm thinking that the Lancer is supposed to take a 60 to 70 Newton engine. I've got the 95 that's supposed to go in the T-33. So I think I'm going to put that in the Lancer.
Could do it. Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Because that's not going to be ready till next year now. So yeah, we use the 95 in the Lancer. So we've got that coming. We've got the BDX coming. So don't worry, I'll be fully stocked here pretty quick.
We need more planes.
But it does feel sad when you only technically own one plane. So
It's okay.
I know. It's hard sometimes. Makes me sad.
Kelly asks, that's David's Rebel behind you. Yes, it is.
It is. That's the rebuilt one, Kelly. She's all pretty looking, prettier than the first one.
And Nick says F-18.
Still up there. You want to buy it?
It's for sale.
I'm sure Andrew would be very happy.
The farm goes with it. There's enough dust on that thing because it's been sitting there for so long.
On the missiles and everything.
You can have your own farm that will
Yeah,
fly with it.
F-18 still for sale. If you're interested in an amazing Skymaster F-18 Red Cox edition, shoot me an email because I would appreciate that storage space back. It would be nice.
1981 says, have a great night, guys. Thanks for the live.
Thank you for coming. Awesome. Well, I think we're going to cut it off there. Keep it an hour. This is a good live. We don't have any projects, any videoing to do that we need to do because we're not videoing right now. We're building stuff outside of video.
Says
land,
you need to do an AA airplane.
Airplanes Anonymous.
Yeah.
Airplanes.
Oh, show how the lift for the F-18 works? Yeah, for sure. So it's,
Hit the tug and pull system.
I forget where it came from. So
Wow.
my friend David sent this to me. So it's a kit you buy. Sorry about the bright light, but it's a kit you buy. So you can see we've got 4 points that it lifts on. Those go up to the pulleys, and those pulleys all come to that one rope. That one rope goes to that pulley right there, which has a little, like a little climbing thing. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, so there's like a hub that it goes.
It's like a, so
A
yeah,
rolling lock.
if you look there, yeah, a rolling lock. So if you pull straight down, it locks when it goes up, like it's a cam lock. But if you pull this direction on the rope, then it releases, something like that. So anyways, we've got all the excess looped up there, and I actually have a little eye hook that's screwed into one of the studs, and everything that goes there. So if that rope does let go, it's actually, there's a fail safe built in. So
That is an amazing little hub up there.
but it works really good. I think the weight limit's like 80 pounds or something like that, but I can drop it down all by myself. So that comes all the way down. to the same level as one of these stands. So we can actually drop it right on the stand, and it's fully supported by the stand. I didn't set it up to come all the way down to the ground because I didn't want that. So, but it works really good.
Moves a lot.
Yeah. So Smooth Dave, what's the story behind that F-18 and how much for it since it's for sale? Jagman, yeah, I'll show the vertical racks in a second here. So the F-18, that is a Skymaster aircraft. So I'll just put the camera down here. So the F-18 is a Skymaster F-18. It's their large 1/5, 5.5 scale. It's the rear engine version, so the engines are right at the back. So that is owned by one of my friends, Andrew. So he no longer flies RC, but he flew RC. We actually got into the hobby together at the same time. He's had a couple 18s. His last 18 was just like this with the rear tail version, flew amazing. This one came up as the kit, and I ended up building it for Andrew. He thought he was going to fly it, but he's not going to fly it. And he's just too busy with his family to get back into the hobby. So that's why it's for sale. It's fully kitted with jetty stuff. It's already set up on my radio. We used JR, I think 8911s everywhere for servos. It's got two Swiwin 190s in it for power, which is nuts power for that engine.
A lot of power for those, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a pretty cool kit. It's got, you know, all the normal F-18 stuff. It's got air brakes that work. It's got the operating canopy and everything. So I think he's asking 20,000 US for it. It's basically, if you fly jetty, it's bind and fly. It's got a center box 400, Cortex, you know, all that stuff. So yeah, so that's the story behind it. Built by me, of course. And vertical racks, I'll show you guys. So this is the first one we built. This one is, that's 12 feet tall because our ceilings are 13 feet. So this one is our heavy duty one. So we've got LVLs, which are like beams when you're building a house. That's laminated veneer lumber. So that's an LVL down there. And then there's an LVL for the back plate. And 2x10s for the verticals. And then all of the outriggers are just 2x4s. So I got this idea from Home Depot. So when I was in Home Depot, you look at their racking systems, like for lumber, that's the racking system right there. It's called a cantilever rack. And yeah, that's how we built it. So it's on casters. So I can pop the casters and roll this anywhere in the shop. It goes just below our high bay doors. So our doors are also set up to go high, right? So they're right up at the ceiling, and that rolls anywhere in the shop. I love it. It's an awesome unit, and whether it's empty or full, it works great. So there's, I think I put like, what did we do, Ward? A couple degrees of forward or something like that. Not much, mainly to counteract the floor slope, right? So right now it's perfectly straight up and down, even though it's on an angle this way. And also the weight on the bottom, the LVLs really help with that. That's why we built them so heavy down low. But that works amazing. I love it. Access to the top stuff with ladders. That's how I work it.
Of course, we built the smaller ones.
Yeah. Smaller ones, same idea, just a lot lighter. So these guys are like, well, I'm 6 feet, so those are like 6.5 feet tall. Our mezzanine here is, it's high enough for a vehicle to go underneath, so like 7 feet or something like that. But these guys are just 2x4 base, doubled up, and just, you know, nothing super fancy. 3/4 inch plywood on the bottom, and 2x6s on the verticals. And our outriggers are just 2x4s with lots of screws. So that's pretty much it.
We designed it for if we want to. We can even build a third one here if we wanted to.
Yeah, and no, Jagman said no 45-degree supports. No, not at all. It's not even needed. I mean, like you look at the PC-21 here, it's a pretty heavy plane, but you know, I can take this and push on it and it's not going anywhere. So we just, when we screw them in, we screw both sides. So there's 5 screws there on this side, and then we've got some screws on the other side as well. So
And
works good.
Sure they take all the wood too on an angle.
Yeah. Yeah, but no, these work good. We built these ones to roll underneath the mezzanine here, so that's why they're that height. So they can also roll anywhere in the shop, of course, but it's just maximizing this space right there. So, and then in about a month, most of these planes will be gone. That plane will be gone. That plane will be gone. That plane will be gone. Yeah, there'll be lots
the
gone.
ones up high.
No, those will be gone later. So yeah, that's the vertical racking. I'll see if there's any other questions that popped up. Do I know of any companies that build a turbine-powered B-52? I don't. What's the story with the PC-21? Looks like it's not flyable currently. The PC-21 is not currently flyable. We were doing the Maiden last year, and our field need more planes. Our field has a bit of a transition to it, so it has like 300 feet of like golf green grass, and then we've got our 500-foot addition. Right now, that transition's amazing. Actually, when I was flying yesterday, it didn't affect the planes at all, but last year it was a pretty hefty bump.
Yeah, we're still working on it.
Yeah, so the PC-21, we started taking off with it. We have got the nose gear set up pretty stiff on it, so the prop doesn't touch. Sorry, I need a drink. And it hit the transition, started flying before it was ready to take off. So it came up and just quickly dropped a wing. So touched the wing, the prop touched. I think it popped the gear mount loose. So we sent the engine back to JetCat. It got a clear bill of health and everything, so that it's back now. And we ordered a new wing for it. We didn't want to go through the process of fixing the wing. We wanted it to be brand new. So we've got a new wing that showed up from SkyMaster sitting over there. And that's pretty soon going to be in the queue to get worked on. So just trying to get these other projects finished first. So Michael Timms, what's been my most expensive build? Ooh, that's an easy one now. I'm just looking through the other comments. Most expensive build, this one. It's going to be, so before this one, it was definitely the previous F-14. This F-14 is definitely going to be up there. Don't ask me how much, because I have no idea. I honestly have no idea. I could do a quick figuring out, but I don't know. The F-4 from CARF that's coming, that's going to be the most expensive build, yes. And I think that'll be the most expensive for quite a while, because
that's going to be the ceiling.
Yeah, that's a plane and a half.
It's all the hours.
Well,
no, that is.
It's the kit, yeah, and it's a very, very expensive plane. So
it's a monster.
The vertical rack can it not tilt forward? Well, the thing about the vertical racks is it's called a cantilever rack, right? So you've got this supporting it from tipping this direction. So yeah, I mean, if somebody went behind it and pushed it, yes, it could tip over, but there's a ton of weight down here, right? So, and then you've got obviously your bigger planes on the bottom, lighter planes as you go up. That F4 doesn't weigh anything right now because there's nothing in it. It's just it's a couple pound shell, right? Or 5 pound shell, so.
Yeah, the only thing bad about it is that it is kind of hard to adjust the shelves.
Yeah, if you want to adjust the shelves, it's unscrewing stuff. So a lot of times when we're moving planes around, it's like, okay, I'm going to take that plane and put it over there because we've got a different size over there and, this type of thing. So, but it works good.
Yeah.
I saw another question pop up. So Kelly, yes, Ward is coming to Montana Jets. He'll be there the whole week with us. Smooth Dave said, how do you actually buy from CARF? Never seen an add to cart option. So you have two options with CARF. You have to set up an account on their website. You can add that stuff to cart, but then you have to request a quote, or you just reach out to Ray or Mike, who are the North American reps, and you can just send them an email, and just ask for a quote on a specific plane. So that's basically how you buy from Carf. So you don't just go onto their website and hit add to cart and expect it to show up, because that's not the way.
Not Amazon.
Good point. It's not Amazon. It doesn't work that way. Yes. David was asking about him as well too. So, oh yes, Matt's also a Carf rep in the US. These are awesome. These are from, who's this from? Radio Master makes these. And everybody's been buying these things. They're amazing. These grippy sticks, so they're like needles on the top. They're so sticky on the top.
Yeah.
And then if you're a pinch flyer, they're so grippy. So yeah, they're super cool. I love them.
One thing I found about it, when that one that we tested there, is like when you're pushing down hard on all for a long time, your thumbs do start to hurt, but
Yeah, it's
not going to do it for
not
such a
generally
length of
how it
time.
works. Yes, exactly.
You're only going to be up for 5 or 6 minutes.
You
and then
gotta
can
build
rest.
up some calluses there.
Yeah, sit there,
Lord.
get a hot plate and put those thumbs on it, right? And just
Or you need to fly your plane more. So, all right, guys, if you have any other questions, now's the time to ask. Otherwise, we're going to wrap up the live chat. Next live chat we'll be doing in 2 weeks, which is, I don't know what date that is. What are we, May 11th today?
Yeah.
Yep.
So that would be May 25th?
Fifth?
Yes, we'll be doing May 25th, because then the weekend after that I'm at an event. So Nick says a bit of blood never hurt, Ward.
I got delicate bus driver thumbs.
Yeah, Ward's a bus driver, so he's not very strong.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. I appreciate it. Don't forget, before you leave and before we leave, hit that like button, like the live chat, whatever. Happy Mother's Day to the wives out there. Yes, indeed. I know my wife's not going to watch this, but happy birthday to you as well. Yesterday was her birthday, so Katie, happy birthday. Had a blast yesterday flying and birthday dinners, and it was just awesome. So, yeah, lots more videos coming on the F-14. Lots of projects coming up, guys. It's so excited where the channel's gone and where things are going. So, very cool. Thank you, Victor. Thanks, Kelly. Thanks, everybody else. And we will see you on this live chat in a couple weeks.